This evening, our top story tonight revolves around the 46th regular meeting of the Caribbean Community. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Burnett highlighted the crucial role of this conference in addressing regional challenges and building resilience. Shifting our focus, we turn to a tragic incident where a taxi driver lost his life in a shooting incident. Police investigations are ongoing, searching for suspects involved in this alleged murder. In educational news, the industrial action led by the Guyana Teachers Union has entered its fourth week, with teachers advocating for better wages and working conditions. A significant development in law enforcement comes with the arrest of wanted murder accused Sean Thomas, who was wanted by law enforcement for shooting death of Ray Narain. Lastly, we bring you news from Brazil, where supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro held a large rally. Bolsonaro is currently battling several prosecutions, including allegations of plotting a coup against his successor. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for February 26, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, police are investigating the alleged murder of a 43-year-old taxi driver on Alexander Street, Georgetown on Saturday, February 24th. Dead is Eon Holder of North Rhinefeld Gardens. The fatal shooting occurred around 5:30 a.m. when a businessman in Queenstown hired Holder to go to Border Market to purchase vegetables. Upon reaching Alexander Street, the businessman exited the vehicle to proceed to the market, leaving Holder to find a parking space. About 5 minutes later, the businessman heard a loud noise resembling an explosion. Upon turning back, he witnessed the horrifying scene of Holder lying on the ground, while two individuals, one armed with a handgun, were observed fleeing from the scene. Emergency services pronounced Holder dead, and an examination revealed a gunshot wound to his face. It is alleged that Holder had an argument whereby he parked his car in the center of the road, blocking vehicles from passing, and as a result, one of the suspects drew a handgun and discharged a round at the taxi driver. Police are searching for the suspects and investigations are ongoing. In other news, wanted murder accused Sean Thomas, called Troy Richards, was arrested by the police on Friday, February 23, 2024. Thomas is accused of shooting death of Ray Narain of Sand Hill Back Dam, Region 7 on September 22, 2022, and has since been on the run. Reports said that around 1:30 p.m. on Friday, the deceased father, Elton Narain, who had witnessed the murder, saw the suspect, for whom a wanted bulletin had been issued, at Grill King on Mandel Avenue and alerted the police. Detectives responded immediately and arrested Thomas. Additionally, Thomas has a commitment warrant for 2 years imprisonment for unlawful possession of firearm ammunition. Moving on, the 46th regular meeting of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, kicked off in Georgetown, Guyana, focusing on enhancing the welfare of the region and its people. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Burnett emphasized the importance of the conference in addressing regional challenges and building resilience. Discussions will cover various areas including food security, border security, and transportation. With Ghana's President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali chairing the meeting, there's optimism for progress. President Ali announced that Guyana will provide $2 million to help the Caribbean countries deal with the effects of climate change. This money will go into a fund to help strengthen the region against hurricane and rising sea levels. Another $3 million will come from ExxonMobil for projects to help grow food and make communities safer, creating a total fund of $5 million. This is part of a bigger plan called the Bridgetown Initiative, which aims to change how money is used globally to fight climate change. Meanwhile, Dr. Burnett urged active involvement from diverse stakeholders, including youth, women, and civil society. Later in the week, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will join discussions alongside leaders from various international partners. Regional leaders from countries such as Suriname, the Bahamas, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada are among those attending the conference. Stick around when we return. Guyana Teachers Union strike enters fourth week amid wage and condition demands, and President Ali launches One Guyana Digital Initiative.
experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl, forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. The industrial action headed by the Guyana Teachers Union is into its fourth week as teachers seek better wages and working conditions. The Guyana Teachers Union President Mark Light reaffirmed teachers' determination to fight for a livable wage as their nationwide strike enters its 15th day. Dr. Light said, despite some teachers returning to classroom due to government threats, the union remains steadfast in pressing for dialogue on salary increases. Light drew parallels between teachers' struggle and historical injustices faced during the indentureship and slavery, emphasizing the need for solidarity. He refuted government's claim of political motives, urging collective action for fair wages through dialogue. Highlighting the disparity in teachers' salary compared to their Caribbean counterparts, Light underscored the importance of equitable wages given Guyana's abundant resources. In other news, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali unveiled the One Guyana digital initiative benefiting 2,000 young Guyanese nationwide under the Guyana Online Academy for Learning Gold Program. This initiative targets post-secondary graduates in information technology, aiming to equip them with skills for lucrative careers in the tech sector, enabling remote work opportunities with global tech firms with potential annual earnings ranging from $25,000 to $75,000. The initiative, launched with support from Canadian Minister of International Development Ahmed Hussein, reflects a rapid transition from conception to implementation. Notably, 60% of beneficiaries are women and 20% are from indigenous communities. President Ali highlighted the substantial investment in the program, equivalent to US $20 million or Ghana $4 billion. President Ali urged beneficiaries to seize the opportunity seriously, emphasizing the significance of the investment in their education. Canadian Minister Ahmed Hussein underscored a long-standing Canadian-Guyana partnership, announcing a $9.5 million contribution to the initiative. Don't go away after the break. Alabama court ruling on frozen embryos. Several clinics pause fertility treatment. And South Korea sets deadline for striking doctors to return to work.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. A large rally has been held in Brazil by supporters of the former President Jair Bolsonaro. He is trying to avoid a jail sentence as he battles several prosecutions. These include plotting a coup against his successor after losing the presidential elections 2 years ago. Al Jazeera's Monique Yannick reports.
They came from all parts of Brazil, some of them even riding their mules to the rally. It's the first time in more than a year that crowds this big showed up to support Jair Bolsonaro. Brazil's former president has faced numerous legal battles since losing his 2022 bid for a second term. The most serious of all may land him in jail. Bolsonaro is accused of plotting a coup to keep himself in power by spreading misinformation to discredit Brazil's electoral system. It's alleged the military would have taken over if all else failed.
They continue to accuse me of a coup. Now the real coup is because there's a draft decree for a state of emergency. A coup? Using the Constitution? Really?
Bolsonaro's supporters have been largely silent since thousands stormed Congress, the Supreme Court and the presidential palace in January last year, 1 week after Lula da Silva took office. Some rioters have been sentenced, while others await trial. Bolsonaro asked his supporters to press Congress for an amnesty. Analysts say it's his last attempt to show political strength.
The chances of Bolsonaro being imprisoned are big. There is a lot of evidence pointing to his involvement in a plot, videos, accusations from his former aides, documents.
Rally showed Bolsonaro still has loyal supporters.
If they put him in jail, we'll take to the streets and fight to show that he has to be among the people like us.
Bolsonaro has already been banned from running for public office until 2030, but his supporters will be using videos of this rally to show voters that the former president still has political clout and that he may help elect hundreds of mayors in this year's municipal elections. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, São Paulo.
Internationally, Donald Trump has voiced his support for in vitro fertilization procedures after the top court in the state of Alabama ruled embryos should be considered human beings. The decision has forced IVF clinics there to close, fearing prosecutions. Al Jazeera's Heidi Castro has more.
The cells inside this petri dish are children, according to a ruling by Alabama's state Supreme Court. The opinion released last week cites the Christian belief that life begins at conception, even if in a lab, and cannot be destroyed without incurring the wrath of a holy God.
This is unprecedented. This has never happened before. We now have a situation where we are saying that a fertilized egg is a child, and all of the things that we do as part of the IVF cycle are called into question.
1 in 50 babies born in the U.S. are from in vitro fertilization. The treatment involves combining sperm and eggs in a lab to create embryos, then implanting them in a person's uterus. Unused embryos, or those with genetic defects, are usually discarded. But in Alabama, that may now be illegal.
You certainly can't destroy them or donate them for research. It's not clear you can store them or freeze them, because if they're children, you can't store or freeze children.
As a result, 3 Alabama infertility clinics are pausing IVF services. That means women who have already endured months of grueling therapies toward a successful embryo implantation and pregnancy are seeing those hopes evaporate. Alabama already has a total ban on abortion, but even some anti-abortion lawmakers say a ban on fertility treatments is a step too far and have proposed state laws to protect IVF. Nationally, the issue has become a flashpoint on the presidential campaign trail.
Individuals, couples who want to start a family are now being deprived of access to what can help them start a family.
This decision must not stand.
Democrats say Donald Trump is to blame for molding a U.S. Supreme Court that allowed states to criminalize abortions. Trump responded on social media on Friday that he supports IVF.
God bless you.
While his Republican challenger, Nikki Haley, was uncertain in her response.
I mean, embryos to me are babies, but it's also conversations where we need to have women and doctors involved in the conversation to say, how do we want to handle this going forward?
The Medical Association of Alabama has called on the state Supreme Court to reconsider its ruling, as fears mount across the country that other conservative states could take similar action. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Finally, the 6-day walkout by junior doctors in South Korea shows no sign of ending. 8,000 of them are opposed to government plans to increase the number of trainees to solve a doctor shortage. Operations have been cancelled and some patients say they have been refused treatment. Al Jazeera's Eunice Kim reports.
Doctors from across the country marched to the presidential office in Seoul. They're determined to stop government plans for 2,000 additional medical school entrants next year to meet the needs of the aging population. The confrontation has left people urgently searching for doctors, as short-staffed large hospitals refuse to accept new patients. The government is increasing pressure on the 8,000 young doctors who walked out last week. They've been warned that they could lose their medical licenses if they don't return to work. And unlike the previous 3 doctors' protests since 2000 when they won concessions, there will be no forgiveness this time.
We will thoroughly investigate and crack down on not only medical professionals who participate in illegal collective acts, but also those who manipulate or encourage such acts from behind the scenes.
Leaders of the medics' main lobby group say they've been threatened with arrest.
It distresses me, saddens me and makes me anxious. But if the South Korean medical community is forced to succumb to even greater threats than these, then I do not consider us to be medical professionals.
While the two sides remain far apart on how to proceed, what they do agree on is the lack of doctors in essential medicine. The Korean Medical Association is saying the fastest way to solve the crisis is to tackle the disparity in doctors' pay and to provide incentives for doctors to move to less desirable areas outside of the capital.
The shortage of doctors is especially acute in pediatrics and obstetrics. Many have left the disciplines to work in more lucrative specialties. In rural communities such as Quezon, the lack of access to essential medical care is particularly dire. Analysts are skeptical that offering more competitive salaries will entice doctors to move from cities.
Once a certain level of income is reached, people might think, no, with this level of salary, I'd rather live in the city to enjoy my cultural life and support my children's education.
The Doctors Association plans a larger rally in a week's time, and there's little sign of a return to hospital wards anytime soon. Eunice Kim, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3 Weather Forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.